Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Hanged Man. This is a position of surrender. This is a position of acquiescing. Okay. Now, whether we are surrendering to a path, surrendering to the divine energy in our life, sort of letting spirit take the wheel, or if this is maybe a card that's saying we've been surrendering our own autonomy. We've been surrendering our own path, surrendering our own journey of life for the sake of something else, okay? I think you're somebody who can sometimes be prone to melancholy, and sometimes we get into a position where we can't really see the way out, okay? We can't see that we're in this position, but there is something we can do about it if we need to. You're somebody that's very generous. I think that sometimes you're generous like to a fault, and even maybe to your own detriment sometimes, where you're willing to sort of give everybody the pass, give everybody the go-ahead, even if it means that you're sort of last in line, or that you don't actually get to partake because there's nothing left, right? So you're the one that cooks the big meal and makes sure everybody gets fed, and then hopefully there's something left there for you. Right. We need to put this card into a little bit of context. We've got to see what's going on with you there. Okay. All right, now, 10 of Cups. Okay. We have a Princess of Swords. We have a Six of Swords, a Two of Swords, a Five of Pentacles. Things are changing in your life. Okay. I think that we are beginning to sort of put ourselves in a bit of a higher priority. Yeah. Here we have the Nine of Cups. We have a Knight of Cups. We have the Devil energy. And we've got the Eon card. The Eon card is kind of a call to adventure. Okay? I think what's going on here is that you are feeling already sort of overwhelmed with a situation. Okay? I think that there is a situation where your energies are being taken advantage of, where your priorities are elsewhere, right? Not on self, not on your journey, not on what you have, not what your spirit and soul might be sort of urging you on to. So I feel like Spirit is calling upon you right now to make some changes in your life and go through this doorway. This is the Judgment card, rebirth, reawakening, a baptism by fire. So it's a challenging situation. And it might be something that is disruptive to the sort of normal routines of life, right? It is the lightning flash. It is the spirit, the angel blowing the trumpet in your face saying, wake up, okay? And going through the doorway is difficult because it means that there is some kind of a transition, that we're being summoned to a new way of life. And usually that summons, that realization, that revelation that my life needs to change now, or that there's some quest that I need to complete. Usually comes in moments of trial, in moments of upheaval. Okay, so I feel that there's kind of a maximum thing going on here. Like the Ten of Cups feels like you've had it up to here with something. Okay, and sort of that we've had enough of maybe living our life for someone else, okay, with this Hanged Man position. That you don't have a problem with suffering or sacrifice or surrender. You don't have a problem with with sort of, a humbleness or a humility, letting other people go first, being of service, all that stuff that kind of comes natural to you. But when it's being taken advantage of, when it becomes a little bit too much, when it is in excess, I think something happens in us that makes us realize a new way is possible. Okay, so I think you're being summoned here. Now we're going to select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We set it down right here with Mr. Ed, the little horse, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. And, well, this is a baptism by water. This is a baptism by fire. Okay, the Eon card. The Hanged Man is in a very kind of different frame of reference, a different state of mind, a different alignment of energy than these two. These two are very ambitious, okay? And really, it's the difference between the Hanged Man and the Devil, right? Because the Hanged Man is passive, surrendering, acquiescing, perhaps living a life in service to others, which isn't wrong at all by any means, okay? Except when it grows to excess, when it goes overboard, okay? When it is too much. This is perhaps a life of deprioritizing ourselves, okay? This is a life of perhaps people-pleasing, where this feels more selfish. It is the Devil card, right? It's the lone mountain goat. It's saying, I have ambitions, and I'm going to climb up the mountain, and I don't care if anybody's with me. I don't care if anybody agrees with me or not. I can do it alone if I need to, you know? So this feels like I'm prioritizing myself. I want to be the first up the mountain. I'm going to be the one to do it, right? Rather than surrendering and sinking in deeper to the situation we're in now, the alternative is we prioritize ourselves and we start our engines, right? This is somebody that's just going with the flow of whatever the circumstances of life might be, going down the river, being carried away by the current. This is somebody that has a boat, right? This is maybe I'm just hanging onto a log, going wherever the river's taking me. This is saying I got a boat, and this boat has an engine, and this engine's got a driver, and we're doing something, right? So this is kind of like we're moving by the strength of our own engine, our own rudder, our own motivation. Okay, so a big contrast between these two energies. We don't have any fire, any overt fire in the reading, but when we get to the Eon card, we see that this is a baptism by fire. Okay, this is a fiery doorway. So this is kind of like you're activating. Okay, we've got water, we've got our air cards, and we got a little bit of earth. And the earth seems rather insignificant, but it's sort of the crux of the whole matter. It's a card of change. Nothing's going to change if nothing changes. We're going to stay exactly the same. We keep doing what we've always done. We're going to continue to get what we've always got. The only one that can change your circumstances right now are you. And I think if we ignore the call and we don't change anything, things are going to get worse. I think our Ten of Cups, as it is now, this idea of too much, overwhelming energy, right? Overwhelmed by the emotions. It's kind of like saying, emotionally, I can't take it anymore, right? If we don't change our behavior, this is going to just get worse. It's not going to get better on its own. Okay? It's kind of like, you get an injury. You have to attend to that injury. You can't just say, well, it'll heal. It's not going to get better on its own. It needs some intervention. Okay? So it may seem like the most insignificant, but really it's the crux of the whole matter. It doesn't matter what your situation is. It doesn't matter what exactly we change, but that we we hear the call, we hear the summons of our own spirit, and we make the choice to answer the call, to respond to the summons. Even though it's taking us out of the sort of, well, it's not really a comfortable position, but it is one that we're familiar with. We've gotten used to it. Okay? I think maybe you are a bit of a people pleaser. Maybe you're living a life that is sort of in service to someone else. A life that is maybe we're following the current that's been outlined for us rather than doing something that feels like it comes from within. We're living in service to energies that are outside of us. Does that make sense? So let's talk about the Ten of Cups, because the Ten of Cups, it is a card of satiety. It's a card of being full. But in this case, I feel like it's just too much. I feel like it's overwhelming right now, that we just cannot exist in this position anymore, that it's just any position, no matter how comfortable it is to begin with, eventually will become cramped. Eventually we'll have to move. We can't stay in this position forever. We have to move. It's become too much. We can't take any more of it. Right? A level 10 on the emotional scale is there's no room for any more water. It's kind of like one more straw is going to break the camel's back here. Okay? So it's too much, even if it was a good thing, or if it was not a good thing, maybe it started out as a good thing or whatever. It's no longer within our capabilities to sustain it. Okay? Underneath the surface is the Princess of Swords. I think you're the type of person that you're kind of looking, in a way, for new avenues for yourself, new connections, new networks. But there's a reluctance in you to sort of stand up and make changes in your life. I feel like it's kind of like, well, let's not rock the boat. Let's leave well enough alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I think the idea is that something isn't right, but maybe we're just not sure what to do. Maybe this is the card that says we don't yet have the confidence in ourselves to really push our way forward. And we feel like we're always in a defensive position. I don't know who's around you right now. There may be a Cancer person in your life. It may be an older male. They may be a water sign person. I feel like they're overwhelming you with their energy. And I feel like we're sort of in this, we're on our back foot. We're sort of in this defensive posture. You see this card? It's not really pushing forward. It's just trying not to lose any more ground. And so I feel like this is indicating to us that we're kind of in a losing situation now. There's no way that this is going to improve unless we make some changes. Now, that Cancer person, I believe, is the Knight of Cups, and this is somebody that they're pushing something your way. So they're imposing their feelings, or maybe this could be gaslighting, this could be emotional manipulation, but they're sort of forcing their emotions on you. Maybe you're an empath. And maybe this is the idea that there are so many people that are sending their negative energy your way. And maybe it's just, maybe it's a lot of people, friends, family. Everybody's sort of dumping their stuff on you. And it's become too much. You can't handle any more of it. Okay? And so it's not our job to be the sponge to soak up everybody's negative vibes. They feel better, but what happens to us? Okay? So we've reached maximum capacity. And now we know that a decision has to be made. We have to decide to turn things around and do what we need to do to change our life, okay? And an initiation like this, like a summons to a quest, once we accept the call and we go through this doorway and we enter this new forest, this new quest, path, it's sort of, we're sort of being reborn into a new state, into a new kind of version of ourselves. And so it really takes a choice. Now, we're not forced to go through this doorway. Okay? The universe is forcing a situation on you, but it's your choice how you respond to that situation. We can ignore the call, pretend this isn't there. I think we're going to suffer more, or we're going to continue, things are going to get worse. Okay? It's like we have this wound, and we have the choice whether or not to respond to it and attend to it, and answer the call. That pain is summoning you to do something, right? We could ignore it, but it will fester, and it will get worse, and we'll get infected and all this stuff. Or we can choose to say, all right, I'm going to just, in a way, with that Hanged Man card, I'm going to surrender to this. I'm going to submit to this call to action. I'm going to make the decision to go through that doorway and deal with whatever's on the other side of that. Okay, so it really comes down to your choice, and I think you're realizing now that you have a choice before you in life. You either answer the call or you ignore the call. And it seems that you're understanding, your intuition is telling you, we've got to go through the doorway. We've got to say yes here. Yeah, because the alternative is that things are gonna get worse. Now you have a 6 of swords in your background. In your past position, this is not so much the map of the terrain, but this is the plan. Okay, I feel like you had a direction for your life. You had a plan of like a course of action. You had the directions printed out. Okay, but I feel like something maybe interrupted that, or there was something that disrupted these plans. Okay. Sometimes the call to action is not part of the plan, you know? That we may think that we're living a certain kind of life and we're right on course, but then some sort of disruptive event happens in our life, some kind of a culmination. Almost feels like a tower moment. Maybe the mystery card is going to be the tower. Some kind of abrupt change occurs that we weren't, it's a surprise. We're not expecting it. Throws us off course. Okay, and we wonder, well, why did Spirit put that in my path? I thought I was doing everything right. Suddenly there's a catastrophe. Why the catastrophe? It's Spirit's way of getting your attention and telling you that it's time to do something different. It's time to change course. Because we just have this plan, but maybe the landscape's changed. We have the road directions, the turn-by-turn GPS, the MapQuest directions, but maybe there's a road closure. Maybe there is, maybe the bridge is out, or things like this, right? Maybe there is a storm up ahead, or there's danger down that road, and Spirit's saying no. Like we can either ignore it and keep doing what we've been doing, or we can respond to this event and we can change course. Okay, we can choose to sort of respond to the summons. Yeah, and that brings us our 5 of Pentacles in the future position here. I think things are changing for you. I think that we are we're headed toward a kind of a critical point here. I feel like we're at critical mass, and we've got to take a step through that doorway. This is a Divine Doorway Oracle card. I think this is appropriate for our Eon card, our Judgment card, Rebirth, Reawakening. Spirit's trying to get your attention, blowing the trumpet in your face and saying, you gotta move. You've got to do something else. And I think that we are, I think that we're considering, accepting this call to action. Your doorway is the 3-eyed raven. As sunrise hits upon the dew, a messenger raven calls out with news. Prepare for the unexpected. Yeah, prepare for the unexpected. And that is this doorway of fire. It's not going to be an easy doorway. It's not going to be an easy transition. It may be an exit that's also an entrance to the new path. Okay, so it is a card that says the old chapter's closing. The new chapter is going to require your commitment. The new chapter is going to require your wisdom, your skill, your tenacity, your endurance, your strength and power. Okay, prepare for the unexpected, because it feels like, kind of feels like we're headed for a tower moment in a way. This is an initiation. This is a crisis in life that's leading you to a new future. And maybe the 5 is saying, we've got to prepare for this. We know it's coming. Let's get ready. Let's do the things that we need to do in order to make this a smooth transition. Now, on the path of the serpent, you start with your 9 of cups. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Nine of Cups is your general energy, and I feel like this is joy and abundance and jubilation and connection and love in every dimension of being: the physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative. I feel like this is you knowing what you want. I know the life I want to live. It's not the Hanged Man. This is not the Hanged Man. This is the opposite of the Hanged Man, right? This is us sort of achieving our goals. This is us living our life that is meant for us. This is us kind of prioritizing ourself, prioritizing our destiny. Okay, this is self-care. This is connection. This is every dimension of life, feeling more and more abundant. Okay, and it's kind of the it's similar to our 10 of Cups, right? But the 10 of Cups seems like this is something emotional that's being put upon us from outside. This becomes our way of life. I feel like you are becoming more selfish, but I feel like it's the best possible kind of selfishness. One that truly connects you with yourself and truly connects you with the world around you. I feel like the situation you're in now is becoming too much to handle. Okay? But the Nine of Cups is that pursuit of happiness. And that's kind of what the call to adventure feels like for you right now. It feels like it's gonna be a lot of changes. It's gonna be a fiery doorway. It's not gonna feel good, right? But we know that it's gonna be good for me. Yeah. It may be a difficult transition, but I want to pursue my goals. I want to pursue my happiness. I want to follow my bliss. I don't want to be overwhelmed with everybody else's energy. I want to find my own path. I want to live my life. I want to see what is in my soul and what song I want to sing. Okay? So I feel like you know that life is better on the other side of that doorway, but it's still a difficult transition. As things change, there is disruption, there is instability. That's why there's a Five of Pentacles. It's not a smooth transition. It's going to have some shakiness to it. Okay. In the environment, in your relationships, we have the Knight of Cups. I feel like this could be a lot of very needy people around you. This could be a lot of family or friends or maybe even coworkers and things that are imposing their emotional energy on you. And it's not your duty or your responsibility to absorb everybody else's negative emotions. It's not even positive emotions, right? I think it's an emotional overload. It's an overstimulation of the heart. And there's just too much coming in. Maybe this is one person that's smothering you. Maybe this is one person that is always always in need of your emotional engagement. Okay. And it feels like it's sort of draining some of your energy away by kind of them overloading you with theirs. That we're sort of losing sight of ourselves. And I think that you're somebody that wants to please other people. You want to be of service. You know, you're willing to make sacrifices for the benefit of others. But there's a limit, right? There is a limit. And the difficulty is the Devil card, because it feels selfish. It feels selfish for wanting the life of your own. Okay? You may feel as if I'm here as the Hanged Man, well, at least I have friends, at least people like me, even though I feel that I'm kind of losing myself, right? But at least I have people. At least I have surroundings, you know. Because the Devil, one thing that we might be afraid of is being alienated or ostracized, being alone, being that lone mountain goat, climbing up the mountain of life all by ourselves. Okay. The thing about the goat, though, is that it will always find its people or its other goats. It will always find its tribe. Okay. I think they call a bunch of goats a tribe of goats. So you may be a little bit perplexed or a little bit torn because you know that this initiation is going to take you away from the old life, even though the old life is too much. Right? Is you recognizing that it is not the healthiest place for you to be. It's still familiar, and it's been It's been this way for some time. So it's difficult then to sort of step away from that. I kind of feel like we're moving away from the old life. We haven't yet built the new life. We're sort of in that liminal space. Okay? And we can no longer tolerate the way things have been, but we haven't built the new stuff yet. Okay? Maybe we're moving away from the family group or the old friend group, and we're going to have to be alone for a little while as we make this transition and we find our new people. We get comfortable in the new life, and sometimes that's answering the call, answering the summons from spirit, from our own soul, is first of all a path of loneliness. Okay, we meet with challenges. We acquire resources. We end up, being confronted with the dragon, slaying the dragon, getting the treasure at the end. But we have to go through the different stages. There is that stage of loneliness. But the choice is yours, and that is the Eon card. Okay, and going through that doorway is going to require that we leave a lot of the old things behind. You can't take everything with you. But that is a new universe on the other side of that card. Maybe that's going to be our mystery card. Let's take a look. Either the universe card, it might be an ace of something. It might be the moon card, your Pisces power card. Well, if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Another 9 of Cups. Your happiness is on the other side of that. Okay, so same card as this one. Same card, 9 of Cups here, and we've got a 9 of Cups on the other side of that doorway. We know that going through that doorway is going to lead to our happiness. We know that we're going to be happier, but it's a difficult transition. It might involve difficult conversations. It might involve some breakups. It might involve some loneliness for a time. Might be some hurdles we have to jump over to get there. But we know that it's worth it because things can't be sustained the way they are now. So we're being summoned to a new life. Okay? Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Pisces on Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.